Through watching Copa America, there have always been gems of players that before the competition were almost completely unknown outside of the Americas, but have gone on and made their name through the competition, eventually getting picked up by big European clubs after making a name for themselves in the Copa America. And in Copa America 2024, it hasn't really been any different. Now, Colombia have easily been one of the best teams in the competition. Despite not being littered with all that many household names, Colombia have still been really good. Between James Rodriguez rolling back the years and looking back in his prime, getting 3 assists in 3 games and being one of the best players in the whole tournament. Between Luis Diaz having some really good performances, Davinson Sanchez even getting himself a goal, Jefferson Lerma getting himself a goal and playing really well. Not all that much else is really known about the rest of the Colombian team. A Colombian team that, by the way, is still undefeated and topped a group that had Brazil in. But to me, the player that has easily caught my eye and for me is one of the best players in the Colombian team, it's a Colombian midfielder that is fairly unknown outside of South America and maybe even North America. Someone I knew basically nothing about, and that being the 24-year-old midfielder from Palmeiras, Richard Rios. Richard Rios has only represented Colombia 10 times and made his debut back in 2023 for his national team. Rios has also never played outside of the Americas, and at the age of 24, he isn't extremely young, so I get why there isn't all that much hype around him. But when I watched him play during the group stages, all 3 games, I can just see so much quality in his game, with so much aggressiveness yet calmness to his game, with some extremely high level quality football on the ball that draws back from his futsal days. And I am very surprised he hasn't been picked up by any big European clubs yet. Richard Rios has taken me by absolute surprise in just how good he has been at the Copa America. But what makes him so good? And does he have a potential to be picked up by any European clubs this summer? Well, that's what we'll be talking about today. So what's going on, everyone? You are listening to Back of the Net here. I hope you're all doing well. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, like I mentioned in the intro, Richard Rios has never played outside of the Americas. Rios actually started his career playing futsal, and he attracted the interest of Flamengo in Brazil during the 2018 South American Under-20 Futsal Championship, where after that he went on a 2-month trial to Flamengo and then signed with Flamengo to their youth team. The start to Richard Rios' time in club football was extremely rocky to say the least. He played just 7 games for Flamengo's first team over the course of 2 seasons before being loaned out to Mazatlan in Mexico, where he played just 6 games due to mainly having a knee injury keeping him out, seeing Mazatlan not exercise his $1 million buyout clause to make the move permanent, seeing Rios return to Flamengo, where he then terminated his contract at Flamengo and left on a free to Guarani, a team in Serie B in Brazil. And there he finally started putting a little bit of things together. He still wasn't amazing, but he had some really good performances at times and showed tons of promise, leading Palmeiras to sign him. And at Palmeiras, Richard Rios was just superb. I mean, it feels like he flipped a switch and turned into this beast of a player. Over 2 seasons at Palmeiras, Rios has played 82 games for Palmeiras in competitive games, grabbing 7 goals and 3 assists from mainly defensive midfield, as well as being crowned the Brazilian champion for the 2nd time in his career after winning it in 2020 with Flamengo. But I mean, he really didn't do much for that Flamengo team, so this was his first time actually contributing to a champion team. And now for Colombia, he has been even more sensational than he was for Palmeiras, which is saying something. Rios is a very talented player on the ball, and you could tell that he had played futsal for most of his career. He's not scared of being pressed by the opposition. He's not scared of having the ball in small spaces. He's not scared of having to squeeze passes into small gaps. And then you look at him off the ball and he is really good. He's very aggressive in a tackle. He's quite strong and good in the air. He overall is just a very hard-nosed midfielder that isn't scared of a duel or isn't scared of a crunch and tackle, that is also really good on the ball. Rios has been a large reason why Colombia's midfield in Copa America 2024 is so strong and so hard to break down at times. Rios, in my opinion, despite mainly playing as an 8 in the Copa America 2024, to me Rios is still mainly a number 6, but is more than capable of playing as a number 8, like he does sometimes at Palmeiras and like I said, like he is doing right now for Colombia in the Copa America. Now, he does still have performances where he isn't perfect, where you could see he still needs some development, like in the last game against Brazil, where he kind of just struggled to make a huge impact, not really looking that good defensively or even looking that good on the ball, getting subbed out in the 76th minute. He did make some good passes, I think completing 80+% of them, but overall he wasn't amazing. But then he still has games where he really just outshines everyone, controls that midfield, dominates the midfield, and you can see so much potential in him. Look, overall, Rios isn't a guy that would just go start for a team like Real Madrid. He is just not near that kind of level, or at least not yet he isn't. But if I was a team like a Real Sociedad, a team like a Bologna, a team kind of in the Europa League, or a team wanting to make it into Europe like Valencia, I would take a flyer on Richard Rios. He's only valued at 5 million euros on Transfermarkt, meaning that an offer to Palmeiras of around 10 to 15 million euros should be more than enough to get the 24-year-old midfielder into the team. He's an extremely talented midfielder that has a really high ceiling. If developed properly and given the right time to play, he could really progress into a nice midfielder. I've been so impressed with Rios that I really hope he gets a move to Europe to show a lot of people what he is made of. And again, if developed correctly, in the right environment, with the right coaching, he could potentially be a superstar defensive midfielder for Colombia for years to come.